Grayscale may liquidate over 600,000 BTC, and on-chain data showing us that whales selling heavily. Let us watch together. Grayscale may be preparing to liquidate 600 BTC after failed GBTC ETF. What happened here? Grayscale have a trust. What is this trust actually? They're buying Bitcoin and putting into a trust, and you can buy shares in this trust. You think, what the fuck, who need this? It's very clear, it's for traditional investors. They want to buy Bitcoin as a stock, and this is what Grayscale offered. What they wanted to do, they have this trust and they want to convert this trust into a Bitcoin spot ETF, but they didn't get an approval from the SEC. And what happened? Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, with roughly 10 billion assets under management, aims for its shares value to represent the Bitcoin it holds, right? To date, the fund has failed, currently changing hands at 48.8% discount to Bitcoin. And you see here, it's falling to 48%. It means like if you're buying one Bitcoin, you get one Bitcoin for free if you're buying these shares. But don't do this, please, because what are the investors right now afraid? I'm going a little bit back, so stay here with me. You have to understand it. The big company above Grayscale, which owns Grayscale, guess what? They're owning also Genesis. You know, this exchange, which soon, there are rumors, will go bankrupt. And they both owned by the digital cryptocurrency group, right? And the thing is, they own Genesis, this exchange, and they own Grayscale. And the crazy thing is, this group, which owns this both companies, they have also shares in this GBTC trust. And the crazy thing about is, if Genesis going bankrupt, the big company both, which owned Genesis and Grayscale, they are forced to sell also GBTC shares. And if they sell the GBTC shares, what happened? The GBTC shares, which you see right now, already going to toilet with 48%, going even lower, and it will be worth nothing. If the price is going further down, they are forced to sell 600 BTC, right? 600,000 BTC. If this happens, if they're going bankrupt, it could also result in significant liquidations for those engaged in Bitcoin derivatives markets and drive down confidence in crypto, given Grayscale standing amongst traditional investors. Not only that BTC is going to the toilet, and I tell you also exactly to which price levels in a second, because we are going also to Bitcoin, but also we will see the SEC will go even more after crypto, trying to ban crypto, because they're saying, you see, it's a very risky asset, it's all a scam, and we have to ban it. The United States might need to ban crypto. Senator Brown thinks banning crypto could be an option for addressing all of the technologies related risks. However, he claimed the FTX collapse represented just one large part of the dangers of crypto. And you understand, if Grayscale also going to toilet, they're saying, you see, FTX, Luna, Grayscale, which includes Ponzi schemes, poor consumers protection, and national security threats. Thus far, the Biden administration has agreed to take a regulatory approach to the crypto industry. But a good thing is, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has clarified that he has no intention to ban crypto. Jerome Powell, our printing machine, is on our side, right? Our money printing machine is on our side. However, if Grayscale going to the toilet and start to selling 600,000 BTC, we see Genesis is going to the toilet, and the company which owns Genesis and Grayscale will also go to the toilet, because they have to sell these GBTC shares, you understand, right? Then what we will see the regulator are going heavily after, and they're saying, you see, it's very risky. And it's obviously very risky, and they're obviously, because it's such a new industry, there are a lot of scams, and we have to regulate some things. So for example, that Genesis can just play with users' money and lending money out to 3 Arrow Capital and so on. If you want, I do a deep dive in Genesis also, but right now what you have to understand, Grayscale may liquidate over 600,000 BTC. And the other news is, on-chain data suggests Bitcoin whales are unloading BTC at a record-breaking rate. What's going on? In total, whales have offloaded some 280,000 BTC in the past 30 days. That is the highest number of any 30-day period. And you see here, this red line, you see this is where we see in the last 30 days that whales sold. You see, it never happened in such big way before. They sold over 280,000. You see here nearly 300,000 BTC. And why they did this, in this article they're explaining, and I tell you my opinion on it. Wait a minute. It is unclear exactly why the Bitcoin whales have been selling coins, but it could be related to fears around Binance, other crypto exchange, in the wake of the FTX collapse. There's speculation because FTX, because of Binance fear, but in my opinion, they know something what we don't know, right? And what we have to do, we have to follow the smart money, not the dump money. And if smart money is selling right now, in my opinion, for long-term holdings, you shouldn't sell, in my opinion, because it's too risky, because we're more near the the bottom than the top. So in long-term holdings, yes, we should hold or buying even more on the dollar cost average. But we should, in my opinion, and this is what I'm doing, I show you also my trade in a second, we should short Bitcoin. This is my opinion, not a financial advice, because I'm following smart money. I have a long-term holding, which I don't selling. But day trade and swing trades, I'm selling right now Bitcoin. I'm right now in a short. I show you also in a second. But the good news is, despite the news of the record selling by whales, Bitcoin's price has remained remarkably stable over the past 24 hours. So this is a good news. But on the other side, we have Grayscale, which may sell over 600 BTC. How low we can go? So let us quickly switch to the Bitcoin chart and speak about, I show you in a second my trade. If you want to trade on Bybit, you can do it. You get $30,030 for free after a certain amount of initial deposit, and get free access to my Discord and Telegram group, where I show you also my trades and signals absolutely for free if you're trading through my affiliate link, because you support me, right? Let us watch how low we can go. We are starting with the monthly chart. If they're selling over 600,000 BTC, and we saw over the past 30 days, so past month, they sold over 300,000 BTC whales, right? So we saw not a big dump. I mean, it was a dump of over 15%, let's say 15-18% approximately. If Grayscale start to sell 600 BTC, which would be double, I expecting at least that we will see a dump to around 13,800. Why? At 13,800, we see a big support is coming in, because you see here a major support is coming in, and this is where high volume will come in. So around at 13,800, we will see a big volume coming in again. Therefore, I don't expect that we will dump lower than 13,800, even if Grayscale selling over 600 BTC. So this is, in my opinion, the local bottom at the moment. At the moment, I speak about even a bigger picture for next year. But at the moment, I expecting that we will anyways to go down to around 13,800, 14,000. And not only this big support is speaking for it, but also if we are watching right now, wait a minute, if we are watching right now where it was, wait a minute, on the daily, yes, wait a minute, I close here some indicators that I explain you exactly. If I'm watching right now on the daily, we see right now, this is the called VBSM, volume based buy sell momentum, and you see every time if this red line crosses the blue line, we're creating a huge red field, which cause which perfectly describe a huge dump, right? We see before the dump happen, you see here the red line crosses the blue line, and this is exactly what right now happened. You see the red line on the daily crossed the blue line, and I expecting here a huge dump to the downside to 13,800 or 14k. And the crazy thing is also, if we are watching on the daily right now, we see here this descending broadening wedge, right? Very clear, where we broke out one fake out, and right now we have the second one. And I expecting that we will retest this white line, right? This white line of this descending broadening wedge. Wait a minute, I have to extend it a little bit without redrawing it. You see here also perfectly the support is coming in around 14k. You see 14,500. So what we could see that we are closing here a daily candle at 40,500, but see a wick down to 13,800. You see something like a wick down here, and then a quick removal to the upside, because very clear I expecting here a relief rally to the upside in the big picture, because it's very clear if we are watching the RSI, we are heavily not on the daily, on the weekly, we are heavily overbought. You see here we are heavily overbought on the weekly. So not only that we are heavily overbought on the weekly, but we see also a very clear bullish divergence. You see the price going down while the RSI is going up. So it speaks for a big picture that we will see a clear breakout to the upside, a rally to the upside. But in the immediate short term, on the weekly, you even don't see it if we are going to 14k. You see, it's not a big deal. It would be only move something like this after we see a pump. You see, it's in the big picture. If you watch like this, it's nothing, right? But for us day traders, we can take advantage of it. So I'm expecting some break to 14k, around 14k, and then a huge move to around 35,000. So to retest here this resistance line, right? This resistance line is from February 2020. You see here support, resistance. It would turn into resistance, right? So this is on the big picture, and after we could go even lower to between 7 and 8k. Why? Because of China. Because China is heavily selling US treasuries. And why they're doing this, you can watch the video from yesterday, because it's too long to explain. Watch the video from yesterday, explain exactly why they're doing this. On the big picture, let us right now watch. I show you my trades where we are going right now in the immediate short term. In the immediate short term, everything perfectly working out as I told you, bratans, and show you also my trade in a second. So we see right now a pump, right? We saw right now a pump in the night. Why? Because we were heavily oversold. You see here, we were heavily oversold. You see here, my drawings, heavily oversold. Right now we are getting heavily overbought. So the whales trying, before we see a breakdown to the downside, what whales trying? They're trying to liquidate all the shorts, right? So as long as we're not breaking above this red line, so above approximately 17,200, I don't expect a bull run, right? So very clear. What I'm expecting right now, we see some consolidation. We could see a pump to this red line to 17,240 to liquidate all the longs, and then we see a sharp breakdown to the downside, very clear, to liquidate all the low leverage longs, right? You understand what I mean? So in my opinion, I show you also exactly, I'm right now in a short with 47,500 with $40 right now in profit, 4% in profit, over $50,000 in contract size. And don't forget, bratans, on Bybit, if you want, you can buy, sell Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on. So I expecting, again, very clear my price targets here. Breakfast. In my opinion, it's very clear. Right now, either we will see a little bit more pump to this red line to 17,200, because it perfectly fits in, because then we are getting here on the, wait a minute, on 50 minute, we would get even more overbought. We are already heavily overbought, but if we see pump to this red line to 7,200, we're getting even more overbought, and then we will see a huge dump to the downside. Therefore, I will even add to my short position if we are breaking to 70,200, and the price targets are very clear. The first price target, if we see right now already dump, I don't know, nobody knows, but the probability that we will break down is much more likely, because I explained to you minutes before, right? So the price target, if we see right now a dump, or even a little bit later, the first price target is this white line, because you see huge resistance we have here. It would turn into support. So the first support coming in at 15,000, approximately at 15,350. So it's 8.5% short opportunity. This is crazy. This is amazing. And if we're breaking 50,300, then the next support is very clear. Like I showed you, it's around here 13,800. So all in all, 17% short opportunity. However, do your own research. It's not a financial advice. Obviously, if you're clearly breaking above this red line, above 17,250, I will close my short and going immediately into a long. However, I don't expect this, because it's, in my opinion, very, very clear, and in my opinion right now predictable, but it's not a guarantee. Please do your own research. And obviously, if Bitcoin dumping to the first price target 50,360, we will see also Ethereum dumping, and I tell you exactly what the price target of Ethereum is. The price target of Ethereum, if Bitcoin going so far down, the price target will be around 1,162, and the next price target would be around 1,050, right? So it's 13%, 10x average 110, 30%. So very clear in my opinion, bratans. please, here again my trade, over $50,000, 65% in profit, 6.6%. And I showed you also yesterday in the night, I was even in our Discord channel, which is for free, bratans. I showed you I was even $600, $700 in profit yesterday, because we saw this dump yesterday to, wait a minute, where's Bitcoin? We saw this dump even to 16,200. So it will be even more, because I'm expecting a more dump, right? Telegram channel, free access you get if you're trading through my affiliate link only, please use only here down below. It's very clear, bratans. It was a very valuable information, a long video, but very valuable information about Grayscale, Genesis, and cryptocurrency, digital cryptocurrency group. Please watch the video from the start if you something didn't understand, because it's very, very important for the big macro perspective. And if you want to cover me some other topics, please write me down below. Someone wrote me they want to cover XRP. Write me down below. Do you want this? If yes, write me down below on Telegram group. I kiss you and I see you later. Mwah.